coming soon. Russian-built super aircraft carriers for India. Early this year, a Russian group proposed to build a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier for India. The notional carrier would rival the super carriers of the U.S. Navy in size and capability. Why did the Russians make such an offer, and what might the Indians make of the deal? Russian interest in a supercarrier began during the Soviet period. Lacking the extensive worldwide bases that the United States Navy enjoyed, the Soviets could potentially benefit even more than the Americans from nuclear power, which reduced the logistical overhead for a carrier battle group. Events intervened, and the Soviet carrier fleet never materialized. The four Kievs rotted until one became INS Vikramaditya, while the Russians commissioned Admiral Kuznetsov and allocated her sister to Ukraine, which sold the hull to China. The big 80,000-ton nuclear carriers never left the slip. Although the lead ship of the class Ulyanovsk reached 20% of completion before scrapping. Reportedly, China intends to construct two of its new carriers to a modified Ulyanovsk design. The Storm class represents a new step in Russian carrier design. At roughly 100,000 tons, the Storms would compare roughly with the U.S. Nimitz and Ford-class ships. It will carry advanced sensor and defense systems, eschewing, at least at this point, the anti-surface weaponry that has characterized previous Russian carriers. The ships would presumably be built at Sedmash shipyards, the only remaining Russian shipyard capable of managing such ships. Even then, Sedmash would require considerable expansion and modification to handle the giant carriers. However, numerous problems remain. Russian shipbuilders have not constructed an aircraft carrier since the 1990s, and have never built a ship the size of the Storm. The Russian economy has gone deeply south in the last few years, forcing the Kremlin to carefully prioritize its defense commitments. Moreover, as many American commentators have noted, the supercarrier as a platform has multiple vulnerabilities, and this makes a sale to India attractive. Put simply, Russia cannot afford to devote scarce resources to construction of a nuclear aircraft carrier, unless it has a partner with sufficient financial wherewithal to make the project worth it. China's shipbuilding industry has progressed to the point that it no longer requires Russia's assistance. Only India both wants carriers and can afford them. India has jumped into carrier aviation with both feet, to replace the ancient INS Virat. India acquired INS Vikramaditya, the former Admiral Gorshkov, from Russia in 2013. India is currently building INS Vikrant, a 40,000-ton carrier similar to Vikramaditya in size and capability. India's next carrier, provisionally named INS Vishal, may enter service in the middle of next decade. It appears that the Russians want the Storm project to fill in for Vishal. Russia also desperately wants to hold on to its defense relationship with India, especially as New Delhi appears to drift towards the United States. Building an aircraft carrier for India could take a decade or more, and would demand an extensive, long-term relationship between the navies of the two countries. If Russia also supplied the carrier aircraft, some have mooted the idea of a carrier capable